Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden. And today we're going to be doing an unboxing from Schreiner's Iris Gardens. Okay, I'm super excited to do this unboxing with you guys today. This kind of came organically because I'm actually not a massive fan of iris. I like a Dutch iris, but I'm not a huge fan of bearded iris. But I happened to come across a YouTube gardener with the channel Hooked and Rooted, and her name is Steph, and she happened to be doing a video on bearded iris. And you know, I just started watching, and then by the end of it, y'all, I was on my phone ordering bearded iris. I know you're shocked. I don't even really like them very much. I've always struggled with how short of a time iris blooms actually last. So they're just not something that I absolutely love, right? Because I feel like there's just a lot of like carnage every time a bloom is finished, right? And I feel like you have to fuss with them a lot. But when I came across this video by Steph, I really liked how she was utilizing these bearded iris within her mixed gardens, mixed in with perennials, mixed in with annuals, and how she wasn't using them in like massive clumps of iris, right? That are just this big, massive amount of bloomed out flowers, right? She was using them in smaller patches tucked in among different other plants, and it really spoke to me. It made me actually excited about bearded iris for the first time. And this is the company that she recommended, Schreiner's Iris Garden. So I immediately got on there and ordered some to try out. Now, when I got onto Schreiner's website, I noticed that they were having a deal. If you spent a certain amount, then they would provide one free iris bulb. And so I was excited about that. I wasn't going to get a whole bunch of iris. I was going to keep it simple and then get this bonus one. So that was really exciting. Well, by the time I was finished, I had like 15 of them in my cart. And I was like, Amanda, you don't have room for 15 iris bulbs. These multiply, they're going to get bigger. It's going to be a lot. So I did manage to narrow it down to 3, and then I got their bonus iris as well. Okay, so in the past I have grown Dutch iris, and I'll put up a few photos from the iris within my gardens, and I love them, especially as cut flowers. They grow slim, the foliage is not crazy super thick and big and overwhelming, and then they're easy to just cut and remove from the garden. They don't take up this like massive amount of space, and their blooms actually last longer than bearded iris blooms. So that is why I've tended to lean towards Dutch iris, and I will continue planting those. Now, bearded iris aren't really great for cut flower designs, right? They're more oriented towards keeping them and enjoying them in the landscape. You do have to go through and deadhead and clean up the carnage as their blooms kind of bloom out, right? Because their blooms typically only last a day or 2 at a time, so they're not constantly beautiful. However, they will continue to produce blooms throughout the season. Okay, so let's get to the varieties that I ordered, and let's go ahead and get this box opened. Okay, let's see. So they just came in yesterday. They did say open immediately. I know this is the next day. This is very well packaged. But I just didn't have time to do the video right at that exact moment. Okay. All right, here's the inside of the box. It has a pamphlet on how to grow. Oh, yeah. All right, that's really great. It even has a diagram of the iris, like all the different portions of the iris and what to understand regarding them. It has a lot of information, including iris troubles. Okay, great. It does have my shipping and my order in here, which is great. And it has a review card in here, which means somebody checked this ahead of time saying that I should have 4 items in here, that's exactly what I ordered. Okay, so it's got some of this straw stuff in here. And here is my first iris bulb. Look at that, y'all, or rhizome. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Okay, so this one is labeled I'm Back. This one's labeled Peach Jam. The next one is labeled Autumn Sunrise. And the last one is labeled Discovered Treasure, which was my bonus one. Okay, so obviously they're packed really well, breathable containers. These were not wrapped in plastic, so they are not molded. Everything looks good. It has some green. The roots are not like falling to pieces because they're so dry. So, I mean, a really good start. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through each of the varieties and talk to you about the particular varieties, how much they cost, and why I chose that particular one. Okay, I actually started my selection with, hey, what is my bonus iris, right? Because they're going to provide an iris for free, and they had already pre-selected that. So I was like, why don't I allow that to kind of dictate the colors that I end up going with? So that iris that they provided for free is called Discovered Treasure. And so a little bit about it, I'll put up a photo of it. It has kind of a pinkish violet tone. The pink is more of like a peachy pink. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Its blooming season is mid-season, and that's something to be aware of when you're looking at the iris. They have early, mid, and late. I am looking for something that is less early and more mid to late. I have so many blooms in my garden in early spring, tons, right? And I don't really need more blooms at that time. I need more in the mid to late springtime. So I chose this one. It calls it Exuberant Ruffles Enliven Discovered Treasures Pastel Photos. Our flowers, our photo shows the buff pink color of the arched standards, prominent tangerine bearded perched atop an orchid violet falls. A vigorous grower, this child of chasing rainbows is blessed with a sweet fragrance. And I loved the color and look of it. It's about 38 inches tall, just beautiful. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna let that dictate what I'm gonna choose next. So keeping in mind those violet and kind of peachy blush tones, the next one I selected was called I'm Back. Okay, and I'm Back is a purple with a deep kind of black tonish purple, almost kind of like a maroon purplish color. And I thought the purple would tie in really well to what we're looking at with the Discovered Treasure. This one is about 36 inches tall, and the description for it is you'll want to reach out and gently trace the velvet black falls, inviting purple standards and an old gold beard on this extravagant prodigal. I'm Back as a pleasing fragrance rebloomer, and this is a mid-season bloomer. So I'm really excited about it. Everything looks so nice and healthy. I'm really, really impressed. Okay, the next one I selected is called Autumn Sunrise, and its height is about 34 inches tall. It is an early to mid bloomer. Its colors are kind of like a rosy pink, almost kind of like an apricot type of color with peaches. Autumn Sunrise is an inviting orient pink. Conspicuous lines overlay the falls, adding a pinch of zest. Rosy carmine on the halves and on the pretty band around them complete the view. Tangerine beards inject the perfect tone of punctuation. Nearly everyone has a soft spot in their heart for this rebloomer. Slight, sweet fragrance. And you might have noticed rebloomer coming up multiple times in there because that's something that was very important to me as well. So this is looking really good. So now you can start envisioning these colors. And after I read the last one, I'm going to put up all four together and show you how they work together in a color scheme. Okay, and then the last one I got is called Peach Jam, and its colors are peach and magenta. It is an early to mid-spring. It is approximately 34 inches. Mauve streaks and splotches overlay peach jam's pale pink petals. Cheerful orange beards add a focal point to this sweet spread of color. A slight fragrance enhances its appeal. Now this one does not have as many roots as the other one. This feels like a younger rhizome than the other ones, but still looking really, really good. Okay, so each of them have a label, and I'm actually most likely going to leave the label attached for the time being until I make some labels to go in place. When you're planting these, you're going to plant them so the rhizomes tops are exposed and roots spread out facing downward in the soil. And it has the whole booklet on how to plant them, and that is going to be a separate video that I'm going to show you guys because I'm not quite ready to get these planted. I'm within 2 weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be keeping these inside. I'm going to keep them in their packing material, allow lots of airflow while I'm getting ready to plant them. Okay, so take a look at all 4 of these varieties together. You can see I'm really playing with the peaches, terracottas, blushes, pinks, lavenders, deep purples, right? We almost had a fade effect, ombre effect across the whole one. And I really enjoy these. These are not going to be put towards the front of a border. These are going to be tucked into my perennial garden and tucked back behind, you know, maybe a beautiful purple salvia, right? Or maybe tucked behind, you know, a gorgeous Magic Wands pink potion Veronica, right? I mean, so that's kind of the idea. These are not going to be main players. These are going to be blooms that kind of peak up at different points in time, and then once they're done blooming, I can trim them back and they can still continue to create their roots underneath. But they're definitely just ones that are going to peak their heads up, like just little special moments throughout the garden, not a big kind of sweep or drift of one particular iris. Okay, I would love your thoughts on growing bearded iris. I've heard a lot of positives. I've heard a lot of negatives. Positives I've heard is they're drought tolerant. They produce like crazy. You always have gifts for other people because you can give them more of the rhizomes that they create. And they put off beautiful color. Negatives I've heard is they grow like crazy and you have to work really hard to kind of maintain them. The constant blooms dying, so there's always a bloom that's dead, you know, amongst the ones that are growing well, which I've said before, I don't really love that. Third, I've had an aunt who talks about she never likes to grow iris because they grow out of control and then mice and rats like to hide among their foliage and use that area as housing, which I'm not too excited about that possibility. I do think that I'm gonna have to work really hard to keep these under control. I don't want them to go crazy. And so I will think in the next couple of years that I will have to divide them and give some away to keep them in check and keep them from taking over. Now, I feel like this is a big step for me to try bearded iris. Like I said, when I was watching Steph on Hooked and Rooted, she was so positive about it. And then she was showing how she used them. And I realized that they didn't have to be this massive statement thing, which is, like I've said, I don't want them to be. That I realized that I can tuck them into the design. I can enjoy their color for a short amount of time. And then basically they'll fade away among the other perennials and annuals. So that is my ultimate goal for these. I know lots of southern gardens that just have a wall of iris all up and down, and that's lovely, but not for me, not in my tiny little Texas yard where I don't have tons of room. And while I do want to plant every single plant, I can't, which is why I had to whittle down to just the 4 iris rhizomes before ordering. I mean, I almost walked away with a dozen, y'all. That would have been ridiculous. I was impressed by the Schreiner's website. The photos were beautiful. The information was glorious. It was very easy to use, very easy to order. And then they've done really, really great communicating through email, letting me know that my order was completed, when it was shipping, and tracking it to my house. And it was delivered exactly when they said, on a Tuesday between 3 and 7. So it worked out great. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Give me your thoughts on bearded iris. Yay or nay? You guys vote below. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.